Right, today we're going to be talking about our customers. We're discussing the biggest challenges new customers are facing when they join us, the main benefits that drive them to adopt a Regtech solution, and even more so the current challenges affecting all of us, how distributed working has affected the way our customers are working and ensuring they stay on top of their regulatory obligations. So, first question for both of you is, what do you think the biggest challenges new customers are facing when they first on board with us?
So normally their data is in a kind of a mess regardless of the size and type of business. And because of this, the setup takes an effort at the beginning, getting all of the firms' registration numbers that they want to add for monitoring, labeling them into different categories. So what type of firms they are, if they're brokers, cover holders, maybe TPAs, uploading their different types of document templates, such as, TOBAs or contracts. But obviously, with all of this in mind, we do offer a lot of support and help to our customers with getting the data onto our systems. For example, adding contact details for those firms that they want to monitor and other elements of data.
Yeah, I think, Sandra, you've nailed a lot of the key things there. It really is a matter of every customer is different, but there's some common things that we see throughout all of them, and that is having a joined up system of even to answer, who are our brokers, who are our cover holders, who are our TPAs that we work with. A lot of times we'll see that there's not one simple answer to those questions, and those really are big questions that need answering before you can even get started in doing what's kind of expected of you, which is the ongoing monitoring and the initial due diligence checks. So those challenges, which I think have been there since we began on the sort of journey we've had with Reg, is still a real big factor in what customers are currently doing. Other challenges that they're facing, I think, obviously with the way things are at the moment, everyone's apart, so it's a little bit more difficult sometimes to link up with other members of your team. And to get a joined up approach, especially if the underwriters are trying to write new business with firms that they don't have TOBAs in place with, and the ability to go and speak with someone and say, look, this is urgent, we need this TOBA, this agreement in place very quickly in order for us to secure this lucrative piece of business. That's a new challenge that wasn't there a few months ago, I think.
Thank you, guys. So that sort of leads on to my next question. So how and do you think has the way insurance people use software changed over the past few years? Even if you think about the way our customers used it when they first onboarded to maybe their perception and usage now?
I think obviously the perception has been, it's done manually. This is how we've been doing it up until now, using spreadsheets and, maybe doing a quarterly review or even once a year review. But obviously that information is always out of date the next day, and it's kind of difficult, especially when you have a bigger portfolio of firms that you're doing business with, to be able to do all of that work manually. And then obviously our system has come on board where you upload a list of hundreds of firms within seconds, and then you would get all of the data on them straight away, being able to get reports of any changes or any firms that are at risk, that have lost their FCA authorization, or their credit risk is very low because of a credit risk description, which is considered very high risk because of their credit or the financial data is not very robust, and it would just kind of get the customers to investigate and look at it further.
Yeah, and I think if you look at how it's changed, in the way that insurance companies are using software, I think it's pretty clear that more and more companies are adopting software to do lots and lots of different things. I mean, in the conversations that I've had with my customers, I've seen, obviously many different underwriting platforms. You've got lots and lots of different sort of CRM platforms that they're using. You've got platforms that allow you to issue questionnaires, and there's lots and lots of different products and softwares that these companies are using. And I think the key is, and the sort of the future of this in our space is to link those together to provide a holistic view of everything across the different across the different companies that our customers work with. And that's really going to be the key is talking, is these systems talking to each other. And I think, as that happens and as that becomes more readily available with sort of API feeds and so on and so forth, like the ability for customers to integrate software will be easier, will be less costly, less time consuming. And I think the amount of of sort of software that they will use to do things that were previously, as Sandra mentioned, spreadsheet based and manual and sometimes not even getting done, then those things will become much easier for our customers to do.
Thank you. Yeah, I think everyone just really wants everything to be a lot faster and simpler, don't they? So do you think COVID-19 has impacted the way our customers are ensuring they stay on top of their regulatory obligations, moving to distributed working? Would you say like these necessary checks are becoming even more prominent and important to our customers?
I think yes, definitely, because of the COVID situation, a lot of businesses have failed or are at risks. Customers are much more being aware of this and are obliged to know if a firm they're dealing with might be in a financial difficulty, which would cause further issues to the customer or even financial loss for the customer. So they do want to be on top of the regulatory obligations much more, comparing to previously when COVID was not here.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a factor of people reviewing processes over the last year, and customers have, I don't know whether it's had more time to do certain things or whether it's maybe everyone's working from home, so they're just working longer hours. Who knows what it is? But there's definitely been a case of, that I've noted with our customers where they're more invested in, how are we doing this? What exactly are and who are we doing it with, and that ability to keep on top of it has seemed to have come to the forefront. Also, I mean, COVID-19 sort of straddling what happened with the Brexit, at the end of last year, regulatory obligations have changed significantly. So those two factors combined, I think, have led to like an enormous focus on, are we doing business in the correct fashion? Are we protecting ourselves as a business? Are we protecting our customers as a business? And that's definitely something that I've seen come to the forefront over the last few months.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess one of the great things about the reg system is that the network works irrespective of whether you're in the office or not. But even though moving to using the reg system at home provides quite a seamless and simple process, we would say, like for our customers, would you say the pandemic has still changed the way our customers are working? Whether that's regarding team collaborations, communications, even using the reg network.
I mean, yes, I think from my perspective, what I've really noticed is our ability to provide customer service has actually been improved by this, in a sense, because before, if a customer would have a question about how to perform an action on our system, or they want to achieve some sort of project on our system, we may have been able to go to their office and speak to them about it, but then you've got to book a time and you've got to make sure that everyone's available and get everyone in the same room and so on and so forth. Whereas now, if someone wants to say to me, and I'm sure, Sandra, you're the same like this, if someone wants to say, oh, I just need to do this, instead of picking up the phone and talking them through it, you can get on a Teams call like this one that we're on today and share your screen and show someone exactly how to do something in 2 to 3 minutes, which previously, as I say, is that speeds things up immensely, because it could be 3 or 4 days before you've got time to get everyone together in a room to discuss that matter. Whereas with the way that everyone's working at the moment, it's definitely become, it's a change from my perspective anyway.
Yeah, it's actually put people together a bit more then and made communication, collaboration a bit more easier than if we were in the office.
Easier, and obviously we do get more meetings with customers because of the easiness of not having to have a physical room booked and having everyone in the same room. So yeah, that has helped a lot, the engagement with our customers.
Yeah, I think it's been it's really been eye-opening, and I think you know, a lot of these kind of things are here to stay, because there's, you know, even as people begin to go back to offices, you know, before, if you had a video chat with someone, it was the anomaly rather than the rule, and now it will be a much more balanced sort of, you know, sometimes it will be a video chat that you have, sometimes you want to go and see that person and you know, have a different kind of conversation. So I think it's changed quite significantly, but it's going to stay. Some of these things are definitely going to stay.
Thank you. So obviously landing new customers is great, but understanding the sort of factors that motivate them to onboard with us is obviously crucial to retaining those partnerships. So from your understanding, what would you say the key drivers are that encourage our customers to adopt a Regtech solution and also to stay with us?
I think automating their work, which is impossible by doing it manually. As we are aware, any checks that, you know, again, they might do today, they will be out of date by tomorrow. Being compliant and confident should they get audited, that, you know, they would have all of their information in one place, showing a robust system and procedures in place. A lot of customers are worried, you know, should we get audited by the FCA or one of our insurers tomorrow? Are we able to, you know, prove that we're doing everything correctly and we're doing all of our checks, you know, properly and in time? So I think that's one of the main key drivers of customers adopting the reg.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely true. And one of the other factors as well is you know, with our technology, you know, with a software service that we provide, you can adapt to changes as well. So, you know, what a customer requires today, or let's look at 6 months ago, what a customer required 6 months ago is different to today, because we've had enormous regulatory changes, you know, as of the end of last year, and you know, companies now have subsidiaries in France and Belgium and Luxembourg that didn't exist, or existed 6 months ago, but were sort of just shell companies almost. Whereas now, you know, our system, we've allowed companies to register those entities, which is a change that we couldn't do before. And it really goes to show that, you know, by being able to adapt to these changes, you can react to customer requirements and provide, you know, continually great service to them.
Yeah, and I think it's that reactive, obviously, nature that keeps them with us and retains them all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any last comments at all, guys? Anything to add?
I mean, just to say that, you know, it's been a funny last 12 months, hasn't it? But you know, I've certainly grown closer to some of my customers and feel like I see them more than I ever did before, and it's been a real experience, but definitely a positive one in some lights, given the, you know, the circumstances.
Perfect. Well, thank you both for your time.
Thanks, Zoe.